You know how some days just change everything? They draw this clear line in history, a before and an after. Well, for artificial intelligence, September 23rd, 2025 was one of those days. It was the moment the scale, the stakes, and the whole structure of the AI industry just flipped on its head. Okay, let's get into it. $100 billion. Just let that number hang there for a second. This isn't just a big investment. It's a number so huge that it fundamentally reshaped the entire AI landscape, kicked off these intense global debates, and pretty much signaled the dawn of a completely new era. And this quote from OpenAI's Sam Altman really gets to the why. He didn't just frame this as some business deal. No, he called it a strategic necessity. The race to build AI, it's now the race to build the very foundation of tomorrow's economy. So, let's break down the event that set this all in motion. This massive strategic alliance between the chip giant, Nvidia, and the AI leader, OpenAI. And this was way more than just a handshake. It was a fundamental realignment of the entire ecosystem. So at its core, the deal is this powerful feedback loop. Nvidia agrees to pump up to $100 billion into OpenAI. And then OpenAI turns right around and commits to using that cash to buy Nvidia's most advanced AI systems. It's a brilliant move, really. It locks both of them in at the absolute peak of the industry, creating this partnership that's just incredibly tough for anyone else to even try to compete with. Now, the way the deal was structured is fascinating, and it got a lot of people talking. Market analysts immediately called it circular financing. I mean, think about it. Nvidia is giving OpenAI a massive amount of money, so that OpenAI can give that money right back to Nvidia by buying their stuff. And while it's totally legal, it immediately raised a lot of eyebrows and concerns about a potential AI bubble, with some folks worrying it's just artificially inflating revenue. So, if you follow the money, it's actually pretty simple, but the implications are huge. First, the cash goes from Nvidia to OpenAI as an investment. Then, that exact same money flows right back to Nvidia as guaranteed sales for their hardware. It's a perfect circle that locks them into this deeply codependent relationship. So, where does all that money actually go? Well, that $100 billion isn't just a number on a balance sheet. It is being used to build a massive physical footprint. We are talking about the largest AI infrastructure project in history, the Stargate project. And on that very same day, the Stargate Consortium, which is OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank, they announced 5 brand new U.S. data center locations. They're spreading their reach across Texas, New Mexico, Ohio, and another spot they haven't named yet in the Midwest. This big expansion pushes the project's total investment to well over $400 billion. It's just staggering. And to really wrap your head around the scale here, you have to look at the power they need. We're talking 900 megawatts. And that's the electricity needed for just one of these new campuses, the big one out in Abilene, Texas. And generating that kind of power, well, it has a direct environmental cost. The on-site natural gas plant for that Abilene facility alone, it's permitted to pump out up to 1.6 million tons of greenhouse gases every single year. So as you can imagine, this has sparked some really serious health and environmental concerns for the people living there. And here's the bottom line on the energy demand. The project's total goal is 10 gigawatts of computing power. To put that in perspective, that requires an amount of electricity equal to what an entire industrialized nation, like Hungary, uses in a year. The first for AI power is absolutely off the charts. And this creates a classic dilemma, right? On one hand, the project promises over 25,000 new jobs, which is a huge economic boost. But on the other, local communities are raising the alarm about massive water usage in areas already prone to drought, not to mention the pollution. And it begs a really tough question. Are we creating AI sacrifice zones, these places that have to bear the environmental burden for all of our global tech progress? So when you have this kind of unprecedented consolidation of money and power, it's no surprise that it's triggered an urgent global response. Right now, regulators all over the world are scrambling to figure out how to govern these new titans of technology. And what's so fascinating is that everyone is taking a totally different approach. In the US, you've got this patchwork of state laws and the threat of federal antitrust action. Meanwhile, the UN is trying to build a broad global consensus to get everyone on the same page. And then you have a country like India, which is trying a more agile, innovation-first advisory model. It's a completely fragmented race to write the new rules of the game. But here's the twist. While the giants are battling over infrastructure and all the regulators are drawing their lines in the sand, something else is happening. A really vibrant ecosystem of innovators is absolutely thriving. It's become a tale of two layers, where the consolidation at the bottom is actually fueling a huge boom at the top. And I mean, that boom is happening everywhere. Venture capital is just pouring into specialized applications. You've got a major defense partnership between Boeing and Palantir. You have startups like Rocket that can build entire apps from just a text prompt, or Track3D, which uses AI to monitor construction sites, both raising millions. Even Nvidia itself is getting in on the action, investing directly in application companies like the audio generator 11 Labs.
But, okay, let's talk about the technology itself for a minute. Because on this very same day, we got a really stark reminder of the central paradox of modern AI. These incredible new capabilities are arriving hand in hand with some significant and, frankly, kind of scary new flaws.
So, OpenAI released GPT-5 Codex. This is a new, incredibly powerful AI model designed for software development. It's what they call agentic, which means it can work on complex tasks with a lot more autonomy. And it's multimodal. It can understand images and screenshots to help build user interfaces. It's a huge leap forward. But, and this is a huge but, almost immediately, the security risks became obvious. Even with safeguards built in, its ability to go out and access the internet and install software opens it up to a whole new world of attacks. And, of course, there are major privacy concerns about company code and intellectual property being processed on OpenAI's servers. And this leads to what Google, in its latest DORA report, is calling the trust paradox. And get this, 65% of software developers now rely heavily on AI tools for their job, yet nearly a third of them admit they don't really trust the output. So we're all rushing to use these incredibly powerful tools that we know are flawed, which makes constant human supervision not just a good idea, but absolutely essential. Okay, so if we pull all of these different threads together, what does it all mean? It means we have officially entered a new phase, what we can call the Consolidation Era. And it's a time that's defined by this extreme concentration of money, of computing power, and of energy, all in the hands of a very small number of dominant players. And this has created a new two-tiered AI landscape. Here's a good way to think about it. The giants, like Nvidia and OpenAI, are building the power grid, the massive underlying infrastructure. But all the innovative appliances that you plug into that grid, those are being built by nimble, agile startups. The future of AI is going to be defined by the relationship between these two layers. And that leaves us with a final and pretty provocative question. In this new consolidation era, with all of its immense power and its immense costs, we really have to ask, who truly gets to build the future? And maybe more importantly, who pays the price for it?